Welcome back to Mainly Italian Motors. Here we have a British one. This is Auto Art's Jaguar C-Type 118 scale. This is the model of the sports racer that won the 1953 Le Mans 24-hour race. Indeed, all four C-Types finished, 1st, 2nd, 4th and 9th. Number 18, driven by Tony Rolt and Duncan Hamilton, won the race at a new record average speed of nearly 106 miles an hour over the 8 1/3 mile circuit. This model I picked up at an auction, an online auction. I don't know I would have bought it if I'd seen it up closer. It is extremely dirty. Obviously the previous owner was a smoker, because that's the grime on it. I was a smoker once, but would never have allowed such an expensive model to get in such a state. There are other issues. I'll just stop the turntable a minute to show you. The strap on one side of the bonnet is missing. There, I'll point it with a pointer. Should be a leather strap on that side, that's missing. Now if we take the model off a minute and remove the turntable, I'll open the bonnet. I don't know if you can see it there, but you can see on the top of the engine here, you can see the nicotine. That's nicotine, that should be silver for the cam covers of the engine. There's all nicotine here, nicotine inside, which is also combined with the dust, so it's going to take a lot of cleaning, this model. And there's also issues with one of the back wheels. I don't know if you can see that that wheel there is not lined up like that one. That one is, there's something wrong with that one. Also on the front wheels, that one's okay, but this one's wibbly wobbly. And also on the back wing here, there's some marks on the paintwork. I'm hoping I'm not going to have to respray part of the body. Hoping I can touch that up somehow. Or when I polish it, it may come off, but it feels like it's a scratch actually. So the next thing is to strip the model down. It's held together by 4 screws, which 2 at the back there and 2 at the front here. And then it will ease the cleaning, and we can investigate the wheels as well. Here we have the Auto Art C-Type stripped down to its parts. Those sneaky people at Auto Art had a 5th screw in the body on the near side, just in front of the rear wheel. Screws in there, and is in the body. I put the screws back inside the body. You can see the 5th screw there. It took me a while to find it. The front wheel I managed to tighten up via the spinners, which actually do tighten and untighten. And it's running a lot better now. I've removed the axle locating arm on the rear suspension because it was broken, which locates, that's the arm on the good side, and this side it was broken, so I'm going to have to glue that back in, although the wheel is running a lot better now without it on. I've got a feeling that the model has been dropped at some time. The bonnet strap seems to be elastic, so I'm hoping to make one out of an elastic band perhaps. I took the screens off for ease of cleaning because underneath it's filthy dirty. One problem I might have is locating the steering column back into the steering, because there's not much room on the underneath at the front with all this to find it actually, but I think it'll be a case of persevering. Now for cleaning I use cotton buds, the old favourites, one of them, well several of them. Also I use brushes, one dry and one wet, and the an old toothbrush is handy as well. Now if I remove some of the parts a minute, we can see how much dirt will come off with a simple demonstration. We'll use the chassis for this. Now I used just ordinary water with a little bit of hand soap, something like this. Just put that in there. So we put our cotton bud in the water, get hold of the body, and just do a bit of that. There. That's just a little bit of pressure. As I was saying on the cam covers, there, even more on them, you can almost already see that they should be silver as opposed to the other colour, which is tobacco basically. The entire car will have to be done like this. See? And that's inside. That's been covered by the actual body shell. If we, the body shell appears to be reasonably clean, but I suspect if we do it on here a bit, no, it doesn't seem to be too bad there. But very often you'll find it everywhere. Anyway, that's the way I clean them. It's a bit time consuming, but it does get the results. The C-type is ready for reassembly. The axle locating arm is glued back in, which has improved the rear wheel. I'll show you that's the arm that has been glued back in. This rear wheel now is a lot freer, and the front wheel just needed the spinner tightening up. The steering rack proved quite difficult to get back in, as it has a spline on it which locates on the rack and pinion, and it also has to locate into a hole in the chassis, and you're pretty blind trying to find it. So there was a bit of swearing involved in that, but eventually we got it in. The bonnet strap is being made out of an elastic band, cut and match the colour of the actual leather on the bonnet. The cleaning has gone reasonably well. The scratches on the paint on the body shell proved to be paint. However, I'll just show you on the rear shell. There is an area on the back wing there where I think it's hit the ground and the paint has been lost. Now, whether I try to touch that up with some paint or leave it, I'm not quite sure. I have to see what paint I've got and whether it's a very good match to this. I know it's British Racing Green, but there are various shades of British Racing Green. So the model is now really ready to screw together. Here is the Auto Arch C-type all back together again. We managed to replace the one of the bonnet straps there. We made one, which is quite a good match, all things considering. Now, to get rid of the smoky smell that might be lingering on it, we're going to put it back in its box on the plinth with a bar of soap and leave it in there for about a week or so, and it should be okay then. Now, one thing I did find with this model, I'll stop the turntable in a minute, is one of the tyres has got a flat spot, in that the model has been left on display and not moved, so the tyres eventually disintegrate. Rather like a real car, if you don't move it for a long period of time, they will disintegrate. I'll show you in a minute. Let's stop the turntable. And it's this one there. I don't know if you can see it, that the bottom of the tyre is almost flat compared to the back one, which is round, and that's because it's developing a bit. That line there will eventually be a crack, and the tyre will crack if you don't move it. So you've got to put it in a position where it's not resting on that. This very often happens to these models. Well, there we are, all back together again, ready to go in its box.